Thank goodness we don't work for the Jets. We have not been fired. We're back for week 12. Here we roll. Yo! What's up, everybody? Here we go. Week 12 start sit. This is Too Much Fantasy Football. You've got Brian and Brennan here for the Fantasy Football Advice Network. How you doing today, man?
Oh, it's better than being the Jets GM right now.
Dude, that's rough. I mean, we had to see it coming. It's been 6 years of roller coasters for that franchise.
I mean, Woody Johnson was just basically acting like the GM, so at this point, it wasn't even Douglas's fault for what's, partaken, so.
And now we're getting rumors, too, that looks like they're planning for a divorce between him and Aaron Rodgers. May not be back for the 2025 season. Still's got 1 year left on his deal, but no guaranteed money left, so. I mean, it has to make sense for the Jets. They're going to have a top 10 pick. Ideally, you want to take a quarterback there. And Aaron Rodgers, do you think he would allow them to take a quarterback in the first round again? Like, this can't be the way he'd want to go.
No, I think he wants to go to put all his chips in contender, one last time. And, I was sitting there thinking of it, of teams that, what would make sense for, teams. And I think the Giants kind of make sense. They have a wide receiver one. I think they'll draft a quarterback, but I think they still have they have a really, really good D line. They have some really good pieces on offense. That kind of makes sense.
How would that work though? Him sharing the same stadium that he was just in, just simply switching over there. You know, be flipping off this. Right? Yeah, just moving it over. God, I could not imagine just the tension that I feel like you'd have in that building.
Yeah, I don't think Giants fans want that. Another team that I could see just to kind of go for it because they're bad, but they probably won't get the quarterback they really want. The Titans.
Yeah,
I can see the Titans kind of making a move for it. Kind of putting the chips all in kind of mentality.
Pulling a Colts and just trying to repair wherever you can into the quarterback position, not actually address it. Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, man. Could you imagine him going down to Miami? Hey, we're going to sit you and let him learn behind Rodgers.
Yeah, right?
Oh, man. It's something, it's wild stuff there up, in New York. You feel for the Jets fans, but at the same time, they're used to it. I know this doesn't hurt them near as much as storied franchises would.
Yeah, it's been 14 years since they've been to the playoffs, so I'm sure they're just over at this point.
Do you remember who they beat in the playoffs that year?
They beat the Colts. I know that. Oh, no,
Yep.
Was it that long ago?
Yeah, they beat the Colts.
No, it wasn't that
year.
long. Was it? Because I know it was 11.
2011.
Yeah,
Yeah,
2010. Yeah. Oh, that's right. Because we didn't have Pierre Garçon that game. It was just Reggie Wayne by himself on Darrell Rebus Island. We could barely score any points. So, and we were out our cornerbacks too. Yeah, I remember that game. It was bad.
Yeah, it was horrible. But you know what isn't going to be horrible? Actually, it very well could be. Thursday night snooze fest coming our way. It's the 8-2 Steelers against the 2-8 Browns. 36.5 point over under. Pittsburgh's favored by 3.5 here. Yuck. Russ is coming off just a putrid day in a game that I feel like he was streamed in just about every league I was playing in. Just a huge dud of a game against the Ravens.
Yeah, I think we all felt like he would have a 2 touchdown game minimum and, have all these things. And I just think we all got to remember that, the AFC North division games are pretty much a bloodbath typically, besides the Bengals and Ravens games. Typically they're very, very close games, always. Even when, the Steelers had Big Ben, the Browns had Brandon Whedon, they were still very close games for whatever reason. This division just beats the crap out of each other. So I think we got to remember that moving forward. But we'll start with the Steelers side. Are you really going to start Russ this game on a Thursday night?
No, I guess. No is really where it comes down to. You have so many other pivot options here in this week, despite there being so many bye weeks. There's just so many other guys I'd like to just transition to, him and Jameis,
Yeah. You probably have some buys for some teams, so Najee kind of slides into RB2 just because of the situation. But I'd really like to not start him against Cleveland.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. It's hard to play him. It's hard to put him in there, just with Pittsburgh being just absolutely stout on defense. At this point of the season, they're the 12th against running back, allowing just 19 points a game. and you just take that away from him, and Warren also had the division game. It's probably cut by 5 more points. So I'm playing Harris just because of the volume play. I doubt you have a pivot option, but yeah, it's going to be a rough one.
And then my boy, George Pickens, does not leave your lineup at any cost. I do not care who's covering him. Darrelle Revis can come back and cover him. He still don't get 70 yards. I don't care.
Yeah, I actually don't mind the matchup for him against Cleveland. Cleveland runs primarily a lot of cover 1, 2, and 3. Pickens is great against cover 1 and cover 3, decent against 2. So I'm okay putting him back out there. He should get you at least that minimum floor.
Yeah, I think we're both out on Mike Williams. I think we're both out on anybody else except Pat Freiermuth, maybe because it's just a tight end option. But like, are you really like aiming
I'll
for
pivot
that
this week?
When in doubt, Thursday out.
100%. There it is. We gotta get T-shirts, man.
Mm-hmm.
On the other side, Chuba and Njoku, I feel like, again, you're probably plugging them in just where they are. Running back, it's rough out there because of the lack of injuries. I think the real question comes down to the wide receivers. Judy's blown up 70 yards in 2 of the last 3, including and then a third game with 150 yards. So you've got that. Tillman, Moore, all of them are getting plenty of targets. Do you play any of them in this matchup, though?
Maybe Judy. Maybe. I think Judy kind of like. I think he's the floor that you want, but Tillman's still that like boom factor.
Yeah, I think Tillman's definitely the boom bust play for me as well. Judy gives you a pretty high floor, I feel like, at least the last 3 weeks. And Elijah Moore, I am willing to roll the dice if you're in a pinch, just because the slot wide receiver usually can beat the Steelers. Then again, all 3 of these guys are kind of interchanging just a little bit, but Moore might just see enough targets where he pulls off just that floor play for you.
Yeah.
Who wins?
I'm gonna go with the Browns.
Snap.
They beat the Ravens by field goals. I think the Browns are gonna play spoiler in this division right now for them.
God, how fun would that be if they're just going in there just screwing up the whole.
The spread
NFC
opened up
North.
at 4.5, and it's already moved down to 3.5. So like, I think people are starting to think the same thing. Like it's a Thursday night game. Steelers when you expect the Steelers to win this when they disappoint you.
If they had lost to the Ravens, I'd be a lot more into the Steelers. Had they won, though, they're sitting with a nice, comfortable lead in the division. I could see them drop it on a quick turnaround for there. I'll take the Browns to cover the spread, even at 3.5.
Yeah, I think they cover the spread for sure. I mean, I think there's a good chance they might win this game.
Oh man, I'm excited for the chaos. Here's one that shouldn't be too chaotic. 9-1 Chiefs coming off their first loss of the season go to Carolina to play the 3-7 Panthers. 42.5 point over under. Kansas City's favored by 11 in this game. Do you think this is kind of a prove it game? Do you think the Chiefs really come at them and score more than 20 points in this game, or?
Yeah, I think like the fact that they didn't really get punched in the mouth. Like the Bills played the right way to beat the Chiefs. Keep the ball away from Mahomes. Even if it's a 1-score game, like you had to go for it, and they did the right thing. I just think the Chiefs, like, it's one of those things where like a perfect season sounds nice, but I think like 14-2 is what I think they're probably expecting now. Probably lose another divisional game. I think they'll put up points. I think they'll for sure put up over 20 in this game. Carolina's got really bad defense, so
yeah, it's bad. It's bad. So Patrick Mahomes, then, are you willing to go back to him, play him in this? Bimageddon?
I would start a lot of the guys on the offense for the Chiefs this game. I just think there's a lot of pieces. I think they'll put up the numbers, and they won't slow down. I think they'll pull a line, so they'll just keep scoring to score.
Yeah. So we got Mahomes, Hunt, Kelsey for sure starts. Wide receivers.
Isaiah Pacheco.
We're going to have to watch practice reports all week because we just heard that Andy Reid just came out saying that Pacheco is going to play. We are seeing a high trend of these players taking a little bit of time to get amped up. If the game's in hand enough, I could see Pacheco getting a little bit more work, but I just don't know if they're going to force it. I don't know why they would. They're primed up. We're looking for a Super Bowl run, so I'm still willing to play Hunt in this game. I think he falls in the end zone at least once to give you the floor play so you're not scared. It's Carolina after all.
Okay. Fair enough.
The wide receivers, I'm willing to play Hopkins if you need him. Yeah, but I'm okay
Hopkins.
if you can move away from him too.
He's a safe flex play for me this week.
On the other side, you've got Hubbard getting one of the hardest matchups against this run defense. You willing to put him out there? Maybe he gets the volume just in the passing game.
Yeah, I think you'll definitely see a split of like 70-30, with the 30 going to Jonathan Brooks, the rookie running back. I think they want to, ease him in. I think this is a really tough game to ease him into with a really good defense, but I definitely think you'll start to see Chuba Hubbard's numbers dip a little bit. I don't know anything crazy, but I think it'll dip a little bit.
So, like, would you pivot from Hubbard in this game then, just because of the matchup, and
No,
like, would
because
you
like Chuba's still
play?
a good receiving back.
Would you play Bucky or Chuba?
I go Bucky,
Tony Pollard against Houston or Chuba?
Chuba.
Chuba, cool. And the wide receivers, you willing to play any of them? Thielen's coming back, so I think it just muddies the water between Leggett and Coker.
I think Coker gets the backseat out of the three. I think like Thielen, maybe he might ease into this game, but I'd start Leggett out of all three of them if I had to pick one.
I gotcha. Yeah, Kansas City plays primarily cover one. Leggett has 25% success rate, right there at the top for the team. So yeah, I don't mind playing him there. Sanders, if you're really desperate for a tight end play, I don't mind the pivot there as well, but it's going to be a very low floor. Who wins this game? Or I guess rather, do they
Yeah.
get the 11 points, the Kansas City Chiefs?
I think they get the 11 points. I think this is a come out game for them. They need this.
Yeah, after a loss, I think that they're going to do as best of a statement game as they can against a bad
Yeah.
team. Alrighty, here we go. Off to the Windy City. It's the 8-2 Vikings taking on the 4-6 Bears. 39-point over under. Minnesota is a 3.5-point favorite. No Waldron, no problem, right? Oh, I mean they lost, but I thought the offense looked so
The
much
offense
better.
looks so much better. It was like a night and day difference with Waldron and the new guy they had. So I think, like, Caleb Williams looked a lot better. They got the ball out of his hands quickly. They made sure that the plays were there, a lot of running aspects. So yeah, I think it's a good step forward as soon as they fire Eberflus.
I think so too. Yeah, Caleb still hasn't thrown a touchdown since they played across the pond in Week 6, but he was 23 for 31 last week, 231 yards. He even rushed it for 70 yards as well.
Yeah, let's say he had a lot of rushing yards, so not a bad game for him.
Hmm.
We'll start with Chicago. We're talking about him. Obviously, I don't want to start Caleb in this game. I know he had a good game last week. I just don't think. I think there's better options. You could probably go to running backs. This is interesting. Roshan Johnson got more of the run, right? If I'm not mistaken, he was more of the
Yeah,
back last week.
he got 3 of the 4 end zone target or end zone rushes. Yeah, and DeAndre Swift had his lowest touch since week 2 and his lowest snap sharing quite a bit. Only 57% of snaps last week, 14 touches, 2 targets. She's bad.
Yeah.
She's bad.
So are you? Yeah. Are you going to start Roshan over DeAndre Swift?
I really don't want to play either one of them. Like Minnesota has a stout run defense. I think one of them can fall in the end zone, so one of them will give you a decent day,
Hmm.
but it's rough because I don't like either one of these guys rest of season. They've got a horrendous. They're going to play Minnesota one more time in the next couple of weeks. So like they play Detroit, it's bad, 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 bad. I get it with the bye weeks, injuries, stuff like that. You're gonna have to play one. I'm willing to play both of them as kind of like a RB3, RB4s. And then just
Okay.
where's the touchdown go? It might go to Roshan just with all the end zone touches he's seen.
Yeah. Any of the wide receivers you want to start? Like DJ Moore had a pretty good game last week. Wasn't amazing, but it was okay. Rome, Keenan, any of those guys spark your interest?
I'm actually okay with going to Rome Odunze. Last
Okay.
week he had a 32% target share, highest for any Bears wide receiver on the season. So hopefully this is new OC. We're transitioning, moving a little bit. I'm not saying he's going to be just outright taking it from everybody. DJ Moore still should be involved, but I like the direction Odunze is moving, and betting on rookie wide receiver is always good.
Okay. Viking side, obviously Justin Jefferson never leaves your lineup. Aaron Jones is a safe RB2, always will be.
It's a rough matchup for him. Last
It
two
is a
weeks,
rough
he's only
matchup.
played 53 and 52% of snaps. He's been
Yeah.
playing in the 70 to 90 range, so that scares me a little bit. Cam Akers was getting some run. I'm still putting him out there, I guess. I doubt you have too many options to pivot from Aaron Jones.
exactly. That's my only thing with him. He's probably like the last RB2. He's probably like 24 out of mine. Um,
Uh,
Addison or Hawkinson?
I'd love to sit Addison. This is a horrible matchup. Bears have just absolutely shut down quarterbacks and wide receivers. So, yeah, I'm pivoting away from Addison. Hawkinson, if you have to put him out there, you have to put him out there.
All right.
What about you?
I
You
think the
playing
Bears
Addison?
win. No.
Well, yeah, I was going to say that too, but you beat me to it. I'm going to follow you on it, though. I think that Minnesota does not look like the Minnesota from the first 6 weeks.
Yeah, Minnesota has had like they should have lost the Titans had the Titans had competent play like 2 weeks or whatever it was. Like they're scraping by, and I just think the Bears looked somewhat competent, but their head coach is not competent. So
Right? They got rid of half the problem. They got one more firing to go. Next game, here we go. It is the 2-8 Titans going against the 7-4 Texans. This game's a 41.5 point over under. Houston's favored by 8.5 points here. Nico Collins, Tank Dell. They didn't really need him last week. They both gave us a sub 60 performance.
yeah.
Not great. But Joe
Well,
Mixon,
if
what
Larry
number?
Tunsil, I was say if Larry Tunsil just didn't, learn the play that they probably practiced for a week straight, the very first play they were going to run, because that's what D'Amico Ryans does. He always scripts for one big play in the beginning, and that was it. And now Nico Collins owners were probably punching air when they saw that.
Oh, 100%. Joe Mixon came in there and just kind of stole the day. 3 touchdowns on the ground, 109 yards on the ground, 44 through the air. That's really all they needed Monday night against the Cowboys. This Titans team, that's all they need for this is just run the ball, get it out of there. But it is a tough defense. You can't really do that against them.
No, I am not really starting anybody on the Titans side besides Tony Pollard and I guess Calvin Ridley. That is really it.
What? No Ridley? Ridley's been hot.
No, I'm starting Ridley, but I
Oh,
just saw
okay.
that he was injured on the practice report today. I literally just got the notification like 2 seconds ago. He's just like
Not
questionable. I don't.
practicing.
It's a
Oh, it's an
Tuesday, so
illness.
like, okay, we're fine then.
Yeah, it's just illness. He's just shitting himself. We're good. Um,
Been there, done that.
he probably had some of Levis's coffee, took a sip of it, and just went right through him.
Mayo coffee. Yeah.
Yeah, so on the Titan side, it's Pollard and it's Ridley. It's about it. Spears had a concussion last week, so Pollard should get a little extra work. I think that just kind of gives me the boost, despite the Texans being a poor matchup for running backs. Other side, are you starting Stroud in this game?
Yeah. Texan side. I mean, are you going to start Stroud? Do you really like him? He's been a disappointment, which knows to me. I said he would not be a top 10 quarterback.
I don't. I mean, I'm not forcing him into my lineup, but I don't mind him as a pivot option. If you do have one of those, if you've got Lamar, you got to go to C.J. Stroud. I don't mind. If you're able to get Drake May off of waivers, I don't mind that play. Bo Nix, he's out there, folks. He's out there to pick up and play in a lot of leagues. So, yeah, he's
Crazy.
definitely a great pivot option too. But I've got C.J. Stroud down at where do I have him? QB 16 on the week. So
Yeah.
middling, you can probably find a better pivot option.
Yeah. Let's see here. Nico Collins, he doesn't leave your lineup. I mean, dude's still really, really good. Joe Mixon doesn't leave your lineup, really, really good. I guess Tank Dell, are you flexing him at all, or is he a thought process for you?
Yeah, it's rough. Points allowed for the Titans, they're fourth against wide receivers, so not a lot gets past them. I don't know if they need Tank Dell in this game, Like, how competitive can the Titans be? Again, this is a divisional game. We do get some wonkiness from this, so probably playing Tank Dell as like a wide receiver 3 in this option, like a low-end wide receiver 3.
Okay. Who do you have winning?
Give me the Texans.
They cover the spread.
I don't know. I like to think it's going to be a little bit more competitive than 8.5 points.
That's what I thought too. I was like, if it was 6.5, I kind of lean towards Texans, but I think Titans can lose by a touchdown.
I think so. Will Levis will find a way.
He does. He always does.
He always does. Alrighty, here we go. It's 9-1 Lions taking on our 5-6 Colts in Indy. 50 point over under. Detroit's favored by 7. Richardson. All right, he's gotten so much got so much flacco all season. We need to give him a little bit here. 20 for 30, 272 yards, a touchdown. Also ran it 10 times for 32 yards and 2 on the ground. Came down and won the game in the final stretch. I don't know if we're going to be doing that this week, but I just want to point out before we get this game against Detroit that he did well, and come on, folks, don't give up on him. Detroit,
yeah, I mean,
go for it.
Oh no, we can start with the Detroit side. This is like you could start Jared Goff. You can start both running backs, and then the wide receivers, Amon Ra. I'd probably want to sit Jamison Williams. Like we run a lot of cover two, so we keep everything in front of us. That's kind of perfect for Amon Ra, and I just don't see I don't see us allowing one go over the top.
I don't think so either. Although we love busted plays. But yeah, I think you're kind of putting him down there as a lower end flex play. Sam Laporta down there. Colts are just terrible. They just don't know tight ends exist. We don't use them on offense. We don't guard them on defense. So does Sam Laporta coming back off that injury? He was ruled out for week 11. I haven't seen any update on him practicing this week. But if he's out there, you willing to kick the tires?
Yeah, I kick the tires on him.
Yeah, kick those tires. On the Colts side, Anthony Richardson. I guess would you play him or C.J. Stroud?
Anthony Richardson, higher ceiling. The Lions allow pass yards. They just don't. I just don't see them allowing the run for Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah, they're fourth against running back, at least points wise, only allowing 15 to the position per game. It's rough for Johnny T. You're gonna have to put him out there. You're gonna have to put him out there.
Are.
He could fall in the end zone. I feel like even if they get just shellacked, there could be some garbage time touchdown coming his way. So I'll play him. I'll play Richardson as a fringe QB1, QB2. I'm not forcing him in the lineup, but I will play him. The wide receivers, though, do you play Downs?
Yeah, you play Downs. He's our best wide receiver.
Yeah, he is. Do you go farther? Do you play Pittman?
I really don't want to, but
and the matchup's juicy. He had 8 targets last week, caught 5 of them for 46 yards. Wasn't beautiful, but was the possession guy while you have your playmaker all over the field in Josh Downs. I'm willing to pivot to Michael Pittman, understanding the circumstances of this week and the matchup, but I don't want to play him.
Yeah, same here. I know the spread's 7.5. I usually pick against the Colts, but we always win some stupid fucking game we're not supposed to. This will probably be the week. We always do it. I swear to God, the Colts always win one game they're not supposed to. They can go back to when Matt Ryan played the Chiefs, Jacoby Brissett played the Chiefs the year before that. Like, we've always had one random win. We're just like, why did we win this game?
That Eagles game, we didn't finish the job, but like almost sneaked it out against the undefeated Eagles. What was it, last year, 2 years ago? Yeah, I totally get that. The 9-1 Lions, they seem like one that we could just, because they haven't had a loss in a while. The Lions, they're riding high.
Yeah, and then we'll lose to the Patriots next week because that's just how it goes. So I'm just telling you guys, it's just we always have one random win we're not supposed to. So, and we haven't had that one yet. So
let's go Colts. All right, last one here for the day. We're covering 6. We got the remaining 7 we'll do tomorrow. But this one is the 3-8 Patriots taking on the 4-6 Dolphins. 46-point over/under. Miami's favored by 7.5. Do you think the Dolphins and Jonnu go in there and take care of business? Because, I mean, that's what the best player on the team does.
I hate you that you said Jonnu Smith. Dude had a field day last week, bro. An absolute field day. Damn, it's crazy. We'll start with the Dolphins. So, I like Tua in this game. I like Devon Achane for obvious reasons. What about you? Those two, are you starting Tua this week?
I don't mind the start for Tua. I've got him as a low-end QB1 for the week. So, yeah, I'll play Tua for sure. I'll put him out there. Achane, definitely. Tyreek Hill. That list is dwindling, though. What about the fifth pass catcher on the team in Jalen Waddle?
Dude, it's so depressing because I traded for him as a late buy. Oh man, I want to say yes. I don't know what's going on with this team. Like it's not like he's just like all of a sudden is bad. It's just I really don't know what to make of it this season. It's a very chalk season for Jalen Waddle. Um, yeah, you start him. You start him this week. He does it this week. He'll meet his over on his receptions and props.
So going back 5 weeks, it's 2 targets, 6 targets, 2 targets, 6 targets, 3 targets. That sounds like 6 targets. 7, okay.
Sounds like 7.
Does he catch them all? Because his catches have been 2, 3, 2, 4, 1, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 5. Sorry. It's been bad for Jalen Waddle. I don't want to play him, but the Bipocalypse, you might have to. Are you playing on the other side, Demario Douglas or Jalen Waddle?
I'll probably play Demario just because I think he could lead the team in targets.
Yeah, on the other side, I'm willing to play. Stevenson's out there for me. I like Douglas as well, just for that, especially in PPR formats. And then Henry, I do like as a tight end play this week, but I don't know if I'm looking elsewhere. How do you like May this week?
I think May's rushing upside kind of gives him that like almost QB1 floor. I think he'll finish as a top 15 quarterback. I will say the Dolphins do shut down receivers for the most part, so it'll be a little bit more tougher. But it's a divisional game, so I think this game will be close.
Yeah, Miami's defense, if you look on the season, they look pretty good, but just in the last 5 weeks, they're only 18th against quarterback, allowing 17 points a game. So Tua's never going to, Tua. May's not going to have a huge day most likely, but his rushing floor could get him up there in the high teens, 20 points maybe. Who wins it?
I think the Dolphins
7.5 points.
I think the Dolphins go on a little run here. I think the Dolphins are going to be that like week 17, like they need a win, but they also need other teams to lose to make the playoffs. I think they'll be fighting for it, man.
It's looking good for them. Just with the Jets kind of getting knocked out, that's one less they're competing with. It's kind of like them, the Bengals, the Colts. Those aren't teams to worry about too much right now. So, yeah, I like the Dolphins taking this one as well. And that's all we have for you, folks. That is week 12, part 1. I'm struggling here. Part 1. Tomorrow we'll come back at you with the remaining 7 games, finish out our start sit, hook you up with any more updates we find as far as the practice schedules, all that kind of stuff works. Brennan, where can the folks find you if they're looking more for you?
You can find me on X at FFAM BMulk, and then you can find me on the Fantasy Football Advice Network group page on Facebook. So I'm in both those spots.
And if you're looking for me, it's at @too_much_Brian, at @too_much_Brian, everywhere else. Just on the Twitter, it's the underscore. Elon won't give it to me. Damn it. But yeah, if you're looking for us anywhere else, we're all over here on the Fantasy Football Advice Network, the YouTube page, and the platform. So come check it out, hang out with us more, and we'll see you tomorrow.
We are here. FantasySportsAdvice.com, offering the best fantasy sports social media platform. Why join endless Discord communities or the trolls of Reddit? Fantasy Sports Advice is a community designed to help you win with 24/7 support. Go to FantasySportsAdvice.com and become a pro member for unlimited access. Again, go to FantasySportsAdvice.com.